Good morning, everybody. Well, will will we hit 5,000? Yes, we'll see. Um, a monumental number to at least tag or close at. We'll see what goes from there. Interestingly, had that big reversal in interest rates last week, and they continue to move higher. And they're just in a trading range, so we can't get too whatever excited about this as to its implications until we see which way it goes. We talked about potentially this retesting this, maybe making a new low if it would turn back up. Historically, it's a good pattern that does create a W bottom, but we got to see if it clears this resistance. It struggled to do that and then couldn't. And it started to go down. And we had the Fed announcement and disappointment and the crazy price action. Market sells off, then goes back up, makes new all-time high. So a bit of a schizophrenic type of price action. National Geographic, Alex. Oh, okay. I saw a blurb on the TV this morning that Trump said if elected, he would reinstate him. So we had that little bit of a conversation about him, you know, doing a good job, the transitory mishap, and so on. So interesting that Trump confirming that he would keep him and reappoint him again. We'll see what happens. All right. So look, trading range, pivot low, pivot high, failed here. Power reversal, back up again. It's gapping this morning into resistance. So we'll see if it continues to move up. This 4.2 level, I think, is what would get the attention if it pushes up above that of the markets. Let's take a peek at the 5-year. Same kind of reversal into resistance. The 13-week, it's up a little bit. There's my line chart. You can see really not a big deal. Same little trading range there. So indecision, some volatile moves, but as far as anything of significance, it hasn't happened yet. Got my alert up here. Set alerts. We see if whatever market we're focused on violates the level. He said he won't. I thought it was on the news this morning. I think he was being interviewed over the weekend. All right, maybe I'm mistaken. I thought he said he did. All right, be interesting to see who he would appoint because I thought they said that he appointed Powell when, but maybe, yeah. So as long as he appointed him, I don't know why he would take him out, but of course that's his choice. All right. So interest rates, trading ranges, not much to go on other than the wild moves up and down. As you know, S&P made a new all-time high. Spiders, well shy of 500. Big open interest at 495, which it tagged and backed off again. One of the things to look at what happens today and then, of course, the following days is how does today close? Meaning, let me just get a drawing tool out here. So one of the things that we look at is as prices move up and we see the size of the move and we see strong momentum. All right. So if there's a void above, lack of resistance, I guess I don't know if there was over here. Anyway, once we get a reversal bar, and if it breaks the low, what happened over here? Well, here it started from consolidation. And then over here, you see it got a slowing momentum reversal was just pulling back. So what does that tell us? It tells us that the distance between the highs, the momentum slowed. And those that look at indicators, depending on the indicator that they use and the settings that there are, they would look at that and say, oh, there's a bearish divergence because their indicator made a lower high while the market's made a higher high. That doesn't stop markets from going up or a stock from continuing to go up. So one of the things to look for here, right now things are down a bit, as you can see, where this is gapping down a little bit. Buyers come in and push it back up again. Does it make it go up to 500? That's the unknown. We'll see what it does. But if it closes with a red bar and it breaks the low the following day, and you see this was strong momentum, then the momentum immediately slows down. That suggests that you could get a pullback from there. Doesn't mean you should short it. We're just recognizing what is in the moment, putting that together with the fact that the trend is still up. It's at all-time highs. Momentum slows down. And if momentum slows down and it violates the low, well, the swing low is relatively close by. So it'll take today to close here for this to be marked as a pivot low tomorrow, which makes that major support. And with the distance from here to here very close, it increases the probability that the trend could be violated by violating that major support. So we'll see if that transpires. I'm just sharing my view and thoughts as to what happens here. Robert's asking me, multiple time frames in alignment increases the probability. Well, multiple time frames in alignment increases the probability that the trend will continue. So once the trend is violated on a lower time frame, you're still in an uptrend on the higher time frame. So while this corrects, and wherever it corrects to, however it transpires, this bias on the higher time frame says when this pattern realigns with some bullish pattern, it should be viable. Right now, notice there are no pivot lows here. There are no pivot lows, which tells us that there are voids within this time frame. That being said, this low, we know, has to be a pivot and a relatively significant support area in a lower time frame, which is down here. And just to put things in perspective of what institutions will be looking for during any corrective processes, they're going to be focused on whether the S&Ps hold 4,800. That's what they would want. And that's basically where your minor support is, which, this violating here and then chops around. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I'll explain all of that as it transpires at the time. So right now, new all-time highs. These bars here, this little retracement, relatively close together. So when I see that, if I see a red bar, I recognize momentum is stalling and whatever. Whatever, Alex, 20 points here or there. It could go under 4,800. It really doesn't matter. It's not, a concrete floor. So, should it come down into that area, if that is what's going to happen, minor support, it could come down into this unfilled gap, give or take, who knows? The 20 MA is there. It's just to recognize what's happening. The trend is up. We're not going to short it, not from a swing perspective. Multiple timeframes being up, that would be foolish. Depending on what kind of potential reversal might occur, say it was a big red bar. Say let's just assume today closes with a red bar and we get a bearish 180 reversal. Well, we're still not going to want to short this, but when you see those kind of patterns, even though it's in an uptrend, you start looking for what we discussed in MT Live last week, relative strength and weakness. What might be making a lower high might have a wide range red bar, would be a call spread candidate. So we start looking at the big picture, broader markets. Oh, they're stalled and going to correct a bit. Let's see what's out there that we can make money from. Doesn't mean we have to do anything here, but you know where I'm going. So, you have different vehicles that you can utilize, that the more things that are in alignment, top-down approach, market sector, stocks, and so on, to formulate your strategy as to what you want to do. Okay. So these strikes today are, I don't know, maybe is today an iron condor day? The average ranges now in the S&P are like 50 points because of the range expansion here of the past few days. That's pretty close. It's really not within my comfort level. It's not that they aren't no-brainers. That's for darn sure. I would think the downside, there's news at 10 o'clock. It starts at 9:45. My calendar here. S&P Global Composite PMI final. Let's see what adjustments they make. Then SMI Services, it's an important number. And so could have some whipsaws here going back and forth. Just keep that in mind. When you're pressing that button, you maybe do something at 10 o'clock and then all of a sudden you get some kind of a whipsaw. Yeah, you got some guy Bostic speaking at 2 o'clock and so on. So be aware. Okay. Disappointment last week. What went on? The Russell was set up. It looked like going to be a fantastic opportunity for this to trigger and move higher. It didn't. You had the Fed Powell comments, down it went. This didn't rally. Now it's, going nowhere. As I look at this alert down here, will that break down and go down to this support level? Will it get back above here? There's just nothing to do. There's no pattern here to trade off of. So other than day trades, which, maybe there's something else better because of this congestion, but as pointing out, what appeared to be would be a great opportunity, didn't unfold. Qs, crazy price action. We had the gap up, the gap down, back up again. This is, I don't know, schizophrenic, little insanity. The big meta move and so on. So, it's basically flat, down a little bit, not a big deal. So nothing of significance going on here. Whippy trading range, void down below here. So we'll see. Transports, whipping back and forth, nothing to do there. Semiconductors, some of them pulled back. Some of them look kind of interesting as trades. It's a relatively shallow pullback. Ideally, it would have pulled back into here, straight down, and reversal. That would have been the highest probability. It doesn't mean it can't go up. But, when the pivot high is so close, it's an obvious stall point. Certainly could go through it, if things are moving. Yeah, I was asking about the dollar. The dollar is up here and as well. So we know what's happened when the dollar has been moving up. You can see it's trending up here and gapping up. And the 10-year has been moving up. Markets have gone down. And the markets basically, other than getting whippy, have shaken off. The dollar moving up. And it's just pretty just back and forth, but I'm clearly trending up. And all of this should be down here. And you see it, how it's above this level. If this didn't have this gap there, this dividend gap. But you could look at, the euro, which is, it looked like it was going to turn up here. It didn't, so this is coming down to this major support. So there's a lot of things moving, but they haven't triggered, as far as equity markets go, anything of significance. But we know, hey, S&Ps are around 5,000. Big open interest in call options there. If momentum slows, if 10-year keeps going up, dollar keeps going up, you know, we're into February here. January was a good month, and prices are going to correct at some point. So as these things come together, the probability of markets beginning to correct increases. Crude oil has been all over the place, it rallied up to resistance, back down here, higher time frame. It's down at this major support. Looked like it was going higher. Now it doesn't. A big red bar down. It's got support here. It's got to consolidate. I don't know what it's going to do. Basically, you don't do anything because it's on this support. There's nothing to do. Up here would have been okay, big red bar. If you wanted to intraday shorts or looking at something related to oil call spreads. But still just in the trading range. Bitcoin also been all over the place, but so far holding up. I would say if this closes like this, if you can clear that pivot high, I think it's got a shot at moving up. So there are some Bitcoin related ETFs or stocks. Some look like they're going to go lower. Some look like they're going to go up. We'll see how that plays out. Gold is down, just erratic, whippy. As in times it looked like it was going to go up. Now it doesn't. This consolidation here, is it just a resting period before it goes up? Will it break down here? I don't know. So nothing to do. Silver we reviewed. It's in a big trading range as well. That kind of looks a little more bearish. It's on some support as well. So not anything high probability there. We need to wait to see what sets up. So market's really not telling us anything of significance here this morning, other than those interest rates, that 10-year reversal in the dollar moving up, and a question as to, do they break out above the range? Do they go back down? What is the dollar going to do? Economic reports coming out at 10 o'clock. So I wouldn't get too anxious here at the open as far as markets go. We'll see what all sets up there. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. I don't have many alarms going off on our opens, so that's good. And Monday we have the weekend letters. We give you a lot of new trade ideas, and so whenever the market's gapping down, for our bullish trades, that's good, because then they're not going to trigger unless they negate the gap and turn around and be strong. So we'll go through all those in the opening session as always. Let's see, talking about oil, I told Greg I was kind of shocked that we're not up with the more war stuff. Starting Friday night, XARs going sideways here, flag 2050. This could actually break up or down, but we'll watch that today. I guess that Abbott alarm go off. That's kind of a bear flag after cracking the uptrend. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go to earnings here. Of the Dow 30, Cat is ripping up $18. Man, look at that, all-time highs. The Dow is still down. Apple up almost $2. Yeah, a beautiful reversal on that was gap down on earnings on Friday. This could be a beautiful 30-minute high trade. That is a very bullish 15-minute chart here. Filling the gap, going sideways, end of day base. So that's a beautiful day trade long. And I'm going to put cat here, just see what it does, but more so on the call spread. If it takes out a 30-minute low. MFG, a little cheapo ADR, but I can't tell, but it looks like it's at all-time highs. McDonald's. Oh, it was down. I saw just a buck or so earlier. 290. There's a bearish gap. That this could turn into a topping pattern with a big void. I'm gonna put that in a window. 30-minute low. And call spread APD 229. That's a big old gap down. Wow, these prior lows on the monthly. So that's a big gap. Let me put him down here, bottom right. Now, Estee Lauder, we said was a pro gap. That, ideally, had it just opened right over last week's high like this, then that would have been a beautiful, 5, 10, 15, 30-minute high, also put spread. And my target would have been these prior highs. But gap's too big. I don't know what to do with that. IDXX 5. Now it says it's up $4, but on a $500 stock, that's not much at all. So it's still at the top of this range, but let's watch that 30-minute high. If it can bust out, it has room. Oscar November is a semi. I noticed SMHs here broke out. Pre-market, $75. Bullish gap, but no pattern. Nvidia is a huge too. Look at this pre-market, 682. Wow, why is this up $20? Notice that. Why, what's the news on him? $20 is massive for, non-earnings. $20 on an upgrade? It has to be more than that. It's that's just always shocks me from a psychological standpoint. There's not one iota of change of their fundamentals from Friday market close to right now. And just because a broker opens his mouth, they can gap up 3-4%. Just it's that book, The Madness of Crowds. What it's just amazing to me. Crowd psychology. It's amazing to me. Same when you get those active, Buffett or an activist says, "Hey, I've been accumulating shares over the last 3 months." Oh, okay. So you deserve a 10% gap up today. Like, what friggin' trading school did you go to? That's past tense, you idiot. And the stock's already up whatever percent. But I guess that's what creates more opportunity for us. All right, Tyson. I was watching this last Thursday. I didn't know it had earnings today, but that's a beautiful inverse head and shoulder breakout. The gap's too big. L Lima, small gap, sloppy. We'll come back. CNA, sloppy buy setup, but bullish gap. It's actually a look 46. 46 is a bullish gap breakout. But gap's too big, no interest. DKR, $80. Bearish gap will come back. AMG flat. Now let's set an alarm at 150, 150 because this is a candidate for a continuation breakout. Oh, you know what? With NVIDIA up, what's SMCI doing? Not nearly as much. This thing's been on a tear. And a lot of people are, viewing it as an AI stock, somewhat of a competitor to NVIDIA. Bowl, man, this thing trades crazy. We actually bought it over here and it petered out, but I got no interest. ALGT, this is an airline opening flat. Let's set an alarm at 81. Don't even worry about it now. This is Allegiant. Oh, talking about airlines, look at a Delta. Delta, I like this is a little cup and handle. Broke out. Here's my little, cup. I have an alarm up here. Boeing's having more troubles today. Now this was a pattern. It could have gone as a retest here just because there's a big void daily weekly. But there's just so much news surrounding this thing. They're having more quality problems, and it's supplier SPR. SPR has earnings this coming week. I actually had this on my bull watch. It's a one, look at this, it's a 1-2-3 following a 180 reversal. But the gap's messing it up. Yeah, Patrick, you would think they've been in business how many decades? You would think they know how to screw, you know? Sam, right? Do you agree with that statement? 40-60, monster gap, no interest. Too early. Yeah, it's pre-market on Monday, Steve. Man, oh man, what is wrong with me? 30, $37. Now, it's a bullish gap, top of the range. I just don't like that it's run this much. It kind of needs to, if it can go sideways for a couple days, maybe 3-4 days, then continuation breakout. MLab, no volume, shouldn't even be there. All right, those are the earnings trades. Let's see what I got down here. Zulu Sierra, some top guy that's flying the coop. 30-minute low call spread, Zulu Sierra. P-car. That's a bull rectangle. CMI. I don't know why I'm looking at these, but I wrote them down. But CMI, closing breakout 180. That's a beautiful continuation pattern. Oh, Cummings. I'm surprised. It's not actually. I'm surprised it's not moving up with cat. Cummings is somewhat related to cat. And let's see what Deere, and Deere is not moving with the cats. That is unusual. That is very unusual to me. To have the two biggest ones, LMT here, I gave us a call spread. That's good to go. It filled. Clack up alarm. This is a put spread. Good to go. It filled. Let me just give them a little reminder. MDB. Good to go. Good to go. Look at daily, weekly, monthly on this machine. Looks great. MDB. These are alarms just going off at the open. PPG. PPG is an open trade. We have a call spread, so that's not a new trade. Let me just set a new alarm real quick. $137.50. And let's move stop Friday's high. All right. MBC alarm. That's good to go. That's good to go. Was this? I forget if it was a direction or call spread. No, MBC was a directional. Swing ladder. So MBC. NBC, good to go. And what's the other alarm that went off? Oh, Abbott. Abbott, 5 minute, yeah, Abbott's good to go. Abbott's good to go.